Hi there, welcome to Monetize Your Business podcast conversations in partnership with FNB. Welcome to yet another power-packed episode in which we get to chat to a phenomenal entrepreneur that's a mover and shaker and doing incredible things in their industry. Today we're chatting to James, and he is chatting to us about systems and processes when it comes to food production. So that is something that I'm very interested in. But before we get into that conversation, as you know, I'm never flying this plane on my own. I always have my very trusted co-pilot with me, Papa Biz. Hello.
Hi, I'm glad to be here, and this is a conversation that I'm actually really looking forward to having.
Something
one, James.
different. It's not a conversation we've ever had before.
Food security. I'm going to put it on food security. That's what I'm going to
Food
do.
security, absolutely. So let's go over to James and begin our conversation. Welcome, James.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Looking forward to the conversation. I think it's an industry that's very different, so looking forward to learning a lot more about that. But before we do so, we would like our audience to get to know you better. Maybe you can start off by just telling us a little bit about yourself. Where
Just
did you grow
before
up?
James gets into that, I actually wanted to tell you that, interesting, I've got a friend who's in the restaurant industry, he's a business owner. And when we met in Soweto at the Monetize program. And this friend of mine spoke to me about creating some type of digital platform. He was saying, "Hey, I need something like this with regards to the food that comes in and out." And then we met you.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, but goodness, you've created what he's looking for.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yes, let us know about yourself.
Yeah. No, so my name is James. Grew up in KZN. Came to Joburg looking for greener pastures after my graduation at University of KwaZulu-Natal, and then started my job in IT as a business analyst for a good 17 years. Working in different industries, and then during my work, and then the curiosity, actually it was came into me to understand how this food industry works.
Yes.
And going to different places to your fruit and vegetable markets, trying to understand how things work, how manual the process are. It was shocking to find out that out of 100% of produce that comes from the soil, only 70% reaches the market.
Really?
There's about
Really?
30% that doesn't make it because of spoilage, because of poor quality, because of lack of market access.
Okay.
I've been into farms where you find a farmer has planted 5-6 hectares of cabbages, but it doesn't know where to go, where to sell it.
Really?
Yes, and sell to neighbors, and they buy and buy. They can only buy so much.
Exactly.
They don't have transport. They don't have markets that are local. They try and send to local markets like your retail stores, but then they get there, they find the price, it's not profitable. So out of that curiosity, that's when I decided to say, look, I'm a business analyst. I'm working in IT, building big solutions for big corporates. So it's time for me to see if we can tap into this space.
Yes.
And that's when Agroex started.
Agroex.
Yes, so that's the name of our company. It's Agroex Industries, because it's an industry. It's not just one, which I'll go into detail onto it. So our first prototype app was developed and launched as a POC. We call it, when you develop a solution, proof of concept. You want to see,
Concept.
you want to see if how the product will sort of be acceptable in the market.
Yes.
And we had about 65 farmers who we talk to them individual and say, look, try, here's the platform. Tell us, can it work? Do you find any value? It was tremendous sort of feedback that we got from farmers. And we identified a couple of retail stores where they were buying. So we found a lot of feedback which we brought us back to the drawing board, where we said, okay, because we launched in 2020.
Okay.
Our
Oh,
platform.
during COVID?
Yeah, during
Wow.
COVID. Yeah, that's when we
Sure.
launched. And then we ran our POC for 18 months. And then from there, from 2022 up until now, we've been building a super app,
Sure.
Yes.
which I'll take you into detail. So, in short, that's who I am
Wow.
and where I am. And
That's
talk
quite a
about
bit
it.
that you've gotten into. You said also that you grew up in KZN.
Yes,
Where in
KZN,
KZN?
in Mkwamhlabi Yalingana.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a Kosi Bay, the Kosi Bay area.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's a
The
beautiful
northern
area.
side of KwaZulu-Natal.
That's a very beautiful area.
Very beautiful.
And did you? How was your family like structure when you were growing up? What is it like growing up there?
So yeah, I grew up with my mother, my father, and sisters. I was the only brother with 6 sisters.
Oh wow! Look at that.
Yeah, so I've been the firstborn.
Numbered.
Okay.
Yeah, look, the growing up wasn't as glamorous. Yeah, came from a humble beginning, but yeah, through hard work and dedication and focus on business and studies and work, managed to uplift the family.
And I mean, if you look back, I mean, I'm just thinking that's quite a big family. And often what I'll hear is that when one is in a big family like that, there's often quite a challenge in being able to differentiate yourself. Fighting for attention. And you said that you were the eldest as well.
Yeah.
I'm also the eldest. So there's a lot of expected responsibility that's
Yeah.
put on you. Did you also experience the same? What is it like for you?
So my upbringing was really, one of a kind. My parents were poor, extremely poor. Growing in a a 2-bedroom house with 6 sisters,
Sure.
having to sleep in a dining room, waiting for everyone to watch TV and go and sleep. But in that environment, I didn't even take it into my mind. So it was like, I'm going to work hard, do my studies, and make sure that I get good grades for university. That was my goal.
Okay.
Yeah, but through that period of my growing up, I was never sort of 100% reliant on my parents to provide for me. So, and that's where I think the entrepreneurship started,
Yes.
because I started observing. We had neighbors with taxis, and I would go and approach them. Can I wash your taxis?
wow.
And
Look
get
at
money.
that.
And to a point where even my teachers at school, when they were building houses, I was like, I can paint your house.
Oh, wow, look at
Try,
that.
yeah. And then started with 1 bedroom, and like, oh wow, you can paint. Ended up painting a house. That time I was still at school, to a point where I think when I was in my matric, I almost had a mini subcontract.
Wow.
Hiring other fellow students. Say, okay, there are actually in my area 2 schools that are painted.
What?
Yes.
Incredible.
Yes. And to the point where when I went to university, at that time you'll think I have a bursary because I had money to buy myself a computer.
Amazing.
I had money to buy myself a computer. I had money to buy myself clothes. And there was no single cent I was getting from my parent.
Wow.
Yes, and I got to university, I'm like, what can I do to make money? At that time, we had CDs,
Yes.
and, CD-ROMs and CD writers
remember them,
and
yes.
all that. And in the university, we could share videos, music videos, quite big, movies, and you compress it and put on your disc. And it was luxury for most of the kids, to have a computer, to have a sound system, for me, it was like an opportunity for me to make money. So I could write on those CDs and sell them in
Wow.
the campus and then make money out of it. So my entrepreneurship actually started there at the young age when I was like, no, I need to do something about
Wow.
myself. And I was never on the street. Yeah, the
Wow.
way I was given names, Mama's boy, either on the either busy on weekends, making myself money and buy myself uniform. I was not buying uniform at Jets and all
Wow.
that. Woolworth and Truworth at that time. Yeah,
Oh,
because I had the money and I was working
Yes.
hard and I could identify opportunities. So fast forward, came to Joburg for work after graduating, and here I am on the new journey of food security.
Wow. Sheesh. I mean, that's quite a story and also very encouraging.
Yeah.
I'm actually wondering then, when you, obviously now you had worked for a long time corporate, and then now you're getting into the space of looking to create something for yourself. Were you not apprehensive or afraid? How am I stepping into this space, or what was your mindset like?
I knew from the day one when I started my job that this is not my calling.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The feeling, the frustration, like there's something bigger out there. So obviously on those 17 years of my work experience in corporate, growing through the ranks and getting more experience, I got comfortable to say, no, at one point I need to step out
Yes.
and start looking for something that really it's more of value than what I'm doing in corporate. Yeah.
You mentioned the period during the time where you were trying to get the proof of concept underway. Tell me, during that period, what kind of challenges did you face within that process?
So developing a platform, it's not cheap, first of all, and it requires a number of skills. You need to have a project manager, you need to have a user experience designer, the front-end designer who makes your app beautiful.
Yes.
You need what we call a full-stack developer, someone who knows the code, end-to-end database, all that. You need a business analyst. I was business analyst in my own project.
Yeah.
You need a lot of resources, and those resources don't come cheap.
Yes.
So that was one of the things. And through that period, obviously tried knocking different doors, looking for money. And we in South Africa, we are not really strong in terms of seed funding.
Yes.
And proof of concepts.
It's a problem,
It's a huge problem because there are ideas that really don't take off. But resilience and also dedication and also not folding hands, but also starting trading, where you're like,
100%.
okay, I can do something while we're building this platform. So we've been trading in the commodity space, like your green beans, like your red speckled beans, We've got a couple of farmers that we engage them, and there are requests that's still coming through while we're building the platform. And that's how it's been sustained throughout. So the biggest challenge has been the funding, where
Yes.
at some point project was stopped because there was no funding.
Yes.
To,
Because it is
to
quite
keep it's
capital
quite
intensive.
capital intensive. We're talking millions.
Sure.
God.
Yeah,
My goodness.
we're talking millions. Look, developing an app, it's not a
Yeah,
it's not
especially when you wanted a proper thing.
a proper things. Yeah, so but we've been funding, bootstrapping, and I think that's one of the journeys where I identify that look, this is the right way to go. We need to bootstrap, self-fund ourselves, utilize the same funding that you receive from the
Yes.
trading to bootstrap the platform.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. So now, I mean, the platform has grown a little bit. What type of, tell us a little bit more about how it works and
So the platform, so when we talk about food security, I always say to people, food security is a fancy word. Yeah, you say food security, but there are systems, processes, and controls that you need to take every step to get to the point where you say, I have food security. Food security basically means enough food available for everyone.
Yes.
So no one must go hungry.
Yes.
There's enough food, and it's affordable, and it's healthy. That's what it means. But from the sourcing of these, the seeds, the fertilizer, the chemical, the land, the water, irrigation, there's a science around it. There are processes, because your end goal is to produce quality product that is acceptable in the market. And also, as a farmer, you want to produce products that are also profitable for you, because you are in
100%.
business. Yeah. And even on the tilling of the soil, there's a science. And spacing of seeds, there's a science.
Wow, wow.
Application of fertilizer, there's a science.
Wow.
And the science that is there, when it's manual, it doesn't become effective. That's why we have your implements, your automated implements, where even on spreading of fertilizer, it scans the land and say, I need to spread more fertilizer here. I need to spread. So, yes. So there's automations, there's drones and all that scans your landscape and tell you that what are the deficiencies on your soil. What type of fertilizer you need to apply. And the irrigation as well is an automated irrigation. So there's a science on there as well. And there's a science on grading, packaging, labeling. Today we talk about food traceability. The biggest issue that we have on the informal market right now, where there's poisonous food, you can't trace where it comes from. And that's what we've built on our system, where you are able to trace back where is this product, coming from? From which farmer, from which field, and what inputs were used for you to trace back what is the issue, and also recall the entire production batch.
And then you know actually where to recall it, as opposed to some panic station where you just say all of the product in the whole country.
Exactly.
I mean, that's crazy.
Exactly, yeah. And our platform doesn't end there. We also identified, the biggest problem in the agriculture, in the production space. We have more than 2.5 million smallholders in South Africa.
And then you know actually where to recall it, as opposed to some panic station where you just say all of the product in the whole country.
Exactly.
I mean, that's crazy.
Exactly, yeah. And our platform doesn't end there. We also identified, the biggest problem in the agriculture, in the production space. We have more than 2.5 million smallholders in South Africa.
Really?
Yeah, but not even 20% of that is supplying the mainstream markets.
Really?
Yes. And then we've got about 350,000 commercial farmers. And those are the farmers that have access of the big market. Probably your food that is in your shelves right now comes from these 350,000. That's a big problem. And the research we've done, it shows that most of these smallholder farmers, subsistence farmers, they've been subsistence farmers for generations and generations and generations. And they've got land. You'll be shocked that there are farmers with 100 hectares, but they're only using 5 hectares because there's no market. And what our platform does is, when you register on our platform, you create a digital profile that tells us how much land, how much access of land you have, what equipment do you have you done any soil analysis, all that. And you create a digital platform. That on its own, there's an AI module that uses that information to interpret on our side to say, actually, there's a potential of this farmer to become a commercial farmer.
Wow.
Yes, and because there's land available, there's equipment, there are all the certificates and compliance that are required, because even on the food production, there are certificates. If you say you're producing organic food, you need to provide a certificate. And that certificate, you need to be audited every year, because you lose it.
Because I think you also mentioned as well, even for those type of farmers, I mean, there's a big market, not only here, but also even overseas, for organic products and so on. But then, of course, you need to have your ducks in a row and certification to be able to demonstrate that, hey, man, this is actually organic.
So on our platform, we've got Agroex app, but also we've created a scale-up model. It's more of a framework. It's a digital framework. It takes all the information you've captured. So for us, farmers, they are required to fully complete their profile.
Okay.
Because all
Okay.
that data, the analytics pull it and then interpret and say, this is the potential for this farmer. And then that's where they scale up. We call it maturity assessment. They need to complete a questionnaire of about 35 questions. And those
Yes.
questions, it tells us at what level of maturity that this farmer is at. We've got different maturity. There's a subsistent level, there's a smallholder level, there's commercial level, and there's blue chip, super
Yes.
commercial farmers, that they've got everything, pack house, processing, they can even process to the end product. So through that it tells us, questionnaire, that this farmer is at this level, and these are the gaps, these are the opportunities. It's an AI module that identifies and put a roadmap to say what training this farmer needs to do,
Wow.
what compliance certificates he needs, what in terms of equipment and infrastructure they need to have in place. The module goes further to take all these gaps and pre-populate a business plan.
What?
Yes.
Sure.
The business plan for funding ready, and it allows them to take that business plan in our platform to say, I'm ready now for funding. So
It's
it's
amazing. That's true empowerment.
Yes,
actually.
we empower. So for us, farmers, buyers, and agro processors, or anyone in the food industry is able to do an assessment just to see where they are. Further than that, we also have what we call an offtake.
Okay.
Digital offtake. Offtake, it's future production contract. I know I have a fish and chips and takes about 3,000 bags a week.
Okay.
And I need these 3,000
potatoes.
bags. Potatoes.
Okay.
3,000 bags potatoes every week. So you come to our platform and say, guys, I need this type of potato, this size for the next 12 months.
Okay.
And the data spills in our platform, and we use this information to send to different farmers and say,
Amazing.
based on your soil analysis, we can see you can grow this product. There's a need for this product, there's a need for this product. This is the pricing, this is the cost, everything upfront. And then if they agree to partake on that, there's an agreement. So meaning they go and plant on a secured contract for that market. Yeah.
Because actually,
Sure,
like
that's
through my mind, I've been
brilliant.
trying to figure out, okay, there's a platform and the farmers are using the farmers. And I was saying, the farmers are using the platforms and then who else is using the platform? But now I'm seeing them because then there's potential
Connecting
buyers
the
who are
two.
able to...
Yes. So you are a restaurateur.
Okay.
This is your platform. For them.
Yes.
You are an agro processor, you're making juice, you're making spice. This is your platform because you want to secure your input
Yes.
upfront at a negotiated price. Yes. You are an export agent, you have an order from China or wherever. This is your platform. You are able to say, this is what I need for the next 12 months. You are a government department. Your correctional services, your school, you know how many people you're feeding. You can do your forecast, your planning, come to the platform, tell us. The platform will spill out all these contracts to different farmers.
Wow.
And they grow. The good thing is, as they grow, because we train the farmers, you need to give us status on every activity on the
Yes.
platform. They have a dashboard that they can see everything. When are they harvesting? When is the next harvest? When is the first delivery? Further than that as well, we've got a delivery app. We've got an Uber-like app that is connected. Yes, that will want to
Because
create
some of these farms, they're also like far,
Yes.
and some of them don't
so
have
you've got a
delivery.
van somewhere, and you can subscribe on our platform and say, guys.
Incredible.
So when there's a transaction between a restaurateur or an agro processor or agent with the farmer, there's a third leg that comes in once the transaction on the platform has been done. So
Also,
we
then
are
the transactions can also take place on the...
on the
In
platform.
the platform
Yes,
itself. So
digital.
from beginning to end, it all happens within
We've
the platform.
digitized from sourcing of your inputs to the delivery of the product in your doorstep or in your.
So a person can go in there and say, I'm looking for 2,000 cabbages, and it will give you a rundown of Gosh, this is absolutely incredible.
So even for informal business, spaza shops,
Yes.
you are running what we call event management company for food. So you guys are
100%,
running that.
yes.
You will know how much you need, what
Yes.
quantities you need upfront, and then you are able to source that in the platform.
This is brilliant.
Yeah.
Are there fees attached to those that make use of the platform?
Yes, so there are levels. So all these features, they don't come free because the platform needs to be maintained.
100%,
first of all.
Absolutely.
It needs to be upgraded, and there are people who are working on it 24 hours, and that doesn't come cheap. But there are different layers depending on the assessment where you are. You know, so there's a 999 rand as a start per month, up to your 3,500.
Okay. And that is to list yourself
Yes.
on the
So
platform.
yes. So all these features are there in the platform. So
Yes.
the platform will be open for everyone from the 10th. Actually, we've got a webinar that we are having on the 10th. So
Okay.
people,
10th
yeah, 10th of May.
Okay.
So people can subscribe on our Facebook. Can find us on
Yes.
Facebook. Just go type Agroex Industry. We are the only Agroex Industry there, and follow our page there. You will definitely find all the information regarding our pre-launch and the launch of the platform.
Wow.
Sure, I love it. It's so amazing, so innovative. What is your ultimate vision for the platform if you were to look into a looking glass 5 or 10 years from now?
So we want to subscribe a minimum of 2 million farmers
Wow.
across the continent.
Wow.
We want to create food hubs across the continent, most probably near the harbors for export. Because with our platform, we anticipate that food security will be definitely achievable.
Yes.
Because we're connecting cross-continental. Another vision is obviously we want to partake the part of free Africa free trade,
Yes.
of cross trading, intra-Africa trading,
Yes, very
where if we've
important.
got shortage of certain commodity but is available in Kenya, we should be able to come into the platform, place an order, and get it moved to here.
Yes.
That's our vision. We want to create a thriving environment for all food businesses
Yes.
across the continent.
Wow.
Wow.
That is fantastic.
Fantastic, yeah.
I mean, I've learned so much just in this short conversation that we've had. Very, very exciting, very, very innovative, and absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Papa Biz, what have been your key takeaways from this conversation?
You know, this speaks very closely. I read different things. I read a report from the World Economic Forum, and they spoke about how they're projecting the population growth to move from 7 to about 10 billion, where it will
9.5.
taper off somewhere there. And the expectation for where that growth is going to come from is not actually from the West. They expect it to come from Africa.
Exactly.
China's plateauing a bit, and India's still got further growth to go to. And one of the concerns was about, how to feed everybody, because it's going to happen within the next 15 years. And very clearly what they were also communicating is that the opportunity exists in Africa, because we've got so much land,
Sure.
to be able to feed everybody. But like you explained, it's not just about feeding everybody. There's a lot of loss that's happening. There's only 350,000 commercial farmers in South Africa who are getting access to the market, and there's still
90% of the market.
Precisely. So there's still a huge gap that's being left behind, but we've got the land. And it's probably similar things also happening within the continent. And so this is a way to utilize technology
Exactly.
in a way to meet growing demand with things that we've got naturally. And so this is very exciting. I mean, what I'm hearing from you, it's extremely exciting.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
wow, and I mean, we just met
Yeah.
at the Soweto workshop, and you're talking about this, and I was thinking, I've been reading about this, and I've got friends talking about a platform that they wish was created.
Yeah.
And there
So
you
we
are.
have it. We have it.
You
yeah.
actually have it.
We definitely have it, and it's been quite a journey.
Of course, yeah.
Without any funding,
Sure.
bootstrapping, and
Which is not
tapping
easy at
into
all.
a couple of millions.
Yeah.
I always tell my friends that, with the money that has been gone to this project, yeah, it's quite substantial. But in a nutshell, in my closing statement, I'd like to call every farmer, not just farmers.
Yes.
You're a spaza shop, you are in any food business. This is your platform because we're opening up for everyone to connect and utilize the technology that we managed to put it together that cuts all the pains across.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And if they would like to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
So they can email us on sales@agroex-hub.com. Or they can just go to our website. They can capture the contact me form, and they can also access us on 087 821 7964.
Wow.
Yeah. So we are available there. You can send us an email. We've got a team that is available to assist anyone for any query.
Wow, this has been absolutely phenomenal. To be honest, for me, my biggest takeaway is I'm completely mind blown at how you have been able to digitize this entire
amazing.
process. And it starts from having that visionary idea from yourself, first of all, and then practically then putting it into the app. This is absolutely innovative. So well done to you for having that vision. I have no doubt that this is going to be a huge success and people are going to come on board the platform. So very, very well done. Thank you so much for such a fruitful conversation.
Fruitful. I see what you've done there.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Monetizers, you have heard the call. If you are within the food industry in any way, shape, or form, if your business utilizes fresh produce and crops, etc., you know that this is a platform, therefore, that you need to be on. We are going to leave all of the details within the description box. Make sure that you are plugging into this fantastic and vibrant ecosystem that is growing. We need you to register. We need you to come on board so that you can also be able to participate in that. Make sure that you are leaving a comment down below. What were some of your aha moments from today's conversation? And don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms. That is at Monetize Your Business, and plug into our physical workshops as well. Until our next podcast conversation.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.